I think that, well, I've said that I've realised that all my the kind of the liberal assumptions I had float on faith. That without faith they have no they have no validity. So essentially, I have lost my faith as as a liberal. I've lost my faith. I don't really believe in it. But in my gut, I still do. I have no objective reason for thinking that anything that I thought as a liberal is true. I don't believe that human rights objectively exist or anything like that. I don't objectively think that there's anything in the arc of history that suggests that the strong won't crush the weak, that powerful states won't enslave parts of the population that they want to enslave. I mean, all of these things, and so does that open up a kind of existential abyss? Kind of, but what it also does, and I'm speaking entirely for myself here, is that because I now understand where my beliefs and values came from, that rather than just drown completely beneath a kind of despair, I can cling to stories. And I think that ultimately the power of Christianity is expressed most potently through its stories. And those stories are not just in the New Testament, but in what Christians call the Old Testament as well. And those stories don't have to be literally true. So the Exodus doesn't have to be literally true for the story itself, in my opinion, to be true. So I think that certain stories have such a power that you can surrender to them. And so essentially that's what I feel that I'm doing, is that I've surrendered to the truth of the stories, and therefore of the kind of the poetry and the mythology that they express, and I'm happy to identify myself with the truth of those stories and to see them as true in a kind of a moral, a poetic, a mythical sense. And I realized that the whole issue of whether I think they, are they literally true? Did Moses literally part the Red Sea? I've just decided I'm not worrying about that.
Yeah.
Because I think the power of those stories is sufficiently great that I can say, well, I'm going to believe in them.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the path. Yeah.
And what I've kind of felt after 4 years of fairly intensive immersion in Christian writings and studying Christian lives is that essentially the beliefs that I hold as a liberal are when I try to think, well, what the roots are, they seem anemic and uninteresting compared to the interest and the kind of the potency of the Christian mythography that gave birth to them. And I'd really rather have the poetry and the power and the myth than the kind of the pallid simulacrum, which is basically what I think I previously had.